What if I told you that some of the most powerful spells in the wizarding world weren't created by Dumbledore or even Voldemort, but by a lonely teenager with a cracked secondhand wand, a dark imagination, and a dangerous obsession with power? This wasn't just any student, it was Severus Snape, and hidden deep in the margins of his old potions book, scribbled in furious ink, were spells the world had never seen before. Spells to silence, to suspend, to slice open an enemy without leaving a trace. But here's the chilling part. He didn't just invent these curses, he used them, and some he may have never meant for anyone else to find. Today, we're diving into all 7 spells that Snape created, how they work, why he made them, and what they secretly reveal about the most misunderstood wizard in Hogwarts history. And trust me, once you see the final spell, you'll never look at the Half-Blood Prince the same way again. Ready for the rest? Let me know. And I'll flow right into section 1, Muffliato. Imagine this, you're sitting in the Hogwarts common room, the fire's crackling, the walls have ears, and every whisper could be overheard by the wrong person. One wrong word and you're in detention, or worse, unless you knew Muffliato. This wasn't just a trick, it was a weapon of silence, a charm that fills your victim's ears with an invisible hum, a droning noise so subtle they don't even realize they've been cut off from the world. No lip reading, no eavesdropping, just silence. And guess who created it? Not Dumbledore, not some old textbook, a teenage Severus Snape sitting alone with a hand-me-down wand and too many secrets to risk sharing. Muffliato was the ultimate tool for control, the first in a string of spells that weren't about power. They were about isolation, secrecy, survival. Because Snape didn't just want privacy, he wanted protection, from bullies, from professors, and from the world he didn't trust. And here's the kicker. Years later, Harry and Ron would use this exact spell again and again, thinking it was just another harmless charm from the Half-Blood Prince. But it wasn't harmless. It was the opening move in a dangerous chess game Snape had been playing since he was 16. And if Muffliato was the first move, then his next spell, that one took your voice and locked it inside your throat. You know that feeling when you're about to clap back with the perfect insult, and suddenly your tongue betrays you. That wasn't a joke. That was Snape. The spell is called Langlock, and it does exactly what it sounds like. It locks your tongue, literally glues it to the roof of your mouth. No counterspell, no talking, no anything. Just wide-eyed silence and a mouthful of regret. Snape invented this one during his school days, likely as a defense against bullies. But let's be real, it's also the most petty, passive-aggressive, and low-key hilarious spell in his arsenal. Imagine being mid-argument with James Potter, and then boom, Langlock. Try making fun of someone when your tongue is stuck like peanut butter on a Monday. But here's where it gets really twisted. Snape didn't just use it on enemies. The spell was so precise, so uniquely tailored, that it hinted at something deeper. Snape wasn't just fighting battles in the hallways, he was testing limits, seeing how far he could go with the magic he made himself. And Langlock, it was a warning shot. Because the next spell didn't just shut you up, it threw your entire body into the air. Before we lift anyone into the air, let me hit you with a little spell of my own. Subscribius Maxima. Side effects may include unexplainable surges of knowledge, random bursts of Harry Potter trivia at 3 AM, and an increased risk of bragging to your friends like, yeah, I know what Sectumsempra really does. So go ahead, tap that subscribe button like it's a cursed locket, smash it before it smashes you, and stick around because the next spell is where things stop being funny. Now imagine this, you're walking through the Hogwarts courtyard, trying to look cool in front of your friends, and suddenly, your ankle yanks upward, your robes flip over your head, and you're dangling mid-air like a clueless puppet. No warning, no mercy, just Levicorpus. And of course, it was Snape who created it. But here's what most people forget. Levicorpus wasn't just a prank spell, it was public. Before we lift anyone into the air, let me hit you with a little spell of my own. Subscribius Maxima. Side effects may include unexplainable surges of knowledge, random bursts of Harry Potter trivia at 3 AM, and an increased risk of bragging to your friends like, yeah, I know what Sectumsempra really does. So go ahead, tap that subscribe button like it's a cursed locket, smash it before it smashes you, and stick around because the next spell is where things stop being funny. Now imagine this, you're walking through the Hogwarts courtyard, trying to look cool in front of your friends, and suddenly, your ankle yanks upward, your robes flip over your head, and you're dangling mid-air like a clueless puppet. No warning, no mercy, just Levicorpus. And of course, it was Snape who created it. But here's what most people forget. Levicorpus wasn't just a prank spell. It was public humiliation, cast with surgical precision, and it came from someone who had spent years being laughed at, shoved, hexed, and mocked by Gryffindors like James Potter. Snape didn't just want to defend himself, he wanted to flip the script, literally. The brilliance of Levicorpus wasn't just in the effect, it was in how quietly it could be cast. One non-verbal flick of the wand, and your enemy's ego? Gone in seconds. Even worse, Snape created a second spell, Levicorpus, just to reverse it whenever he wanted. He controlled the beginning and the end of the show, but the more he used it, the more he blurred the line between justice and revenge. Because after floating a few bullies, Snape's next spell, it twisted your body from the inside out. At first glance, it sounds like a joke, a hex that makes your toenails grow uncontrollably. Seriously, Snape? But don't laugh too soon. This odd little spell, which causes your toenails to lengthen at a rapid, painful pace, wasn't just a gag. It was psychological warfare in its most weirdly specific form. Think about it. Most jinxes cause pain or shock, but this one, it's slow, creepy, embarrassing, and it leaves your victim trapped in their own discomfort, trying to rip off their shoes while everyone watches. And that's exactly what makes it so Snape. He wasn't just trying to hex someone and walk away. He wanted them to squirm, to suffer in silence, to feel humiliated without anyone else even knowing what was happening. Some fans even speculate that Snape designed this hex. It was warfare. What kind of 16-year-old invents a curse that can slice open someone's body like an invisible sword? Only one who's seen darkness, only one who's lived it. Some say Snape created Sectumsempra in his lowest, angriest moments, when he felt powerless, humiliated, and furious at the world. It was his pain, turned into a spell. And here's the craziest part. He also created a counter-curse, meaning, even at his darkest, Snape still wanted to undo the damage. But more on that in a second, because before we talk about the spell that heals, I need to hit you with something just as powerful. Smash that subscribe button faster than Snape wrote Sectumsempra in the margins of his potions book. Trust me, this is only getting better. After the blood, after the screaming, after Sectumsempra tore through Draco like a blade made of air. Snape didn't yell, he didn't panic, he knelt down, wand in hand, and whispered a spell almost no one had ever heard before. Vulnera Sanentur, Latin for, may the wounds be healed. But this wasn't some basic healing charm, this was advanced ancient magic, a spell so rare it didn't appear in any textbook. And yet, Snape cast it perfectly, repeatedly, rhythmically, like he'd done it before, like he created it. And here's the part no one talks about. He didn't just stop the bleeding, he undid the curse he himself had written years ago. Vulnera Sanentur wasn't just a healing spell, it was an apology, a way to reverse the damage, to take back the violence, to fix something, anything, before it went too far. Because deep down, Snape knew what Sectumsempra was capable of. He knew the kind of pain his magic could cause, and Vulnera Sanentur was the proof that even the darkest minds can leave a light on for redemption. He never taught it, never bragged about it. He just used it, once, in a moment that could have changed everything. But of course, Snape's story doesn't end with healing. Because what these spells really reveal is something much bigger. So now you've seen them all. 7 spells, each one brilliant, dangerous, and completely original. From buzzing ears, to severed skin, to silent redemption. But here's the question nobody asks. Why was Snape inventing spells at all? Not just modifying them, not mastering them, but creating them from scratch. He wasn't a teacher, he wasn't an aura, he was a student, a lonely, angry boy stuck between two worlds, the muggle one he hated, and the magical one that never fully accepted him. And when no one gave him power, he wrote it himself. Ink, wand, and rage. Every spell he created tells a part of his story. Muffliato was isolation, Langlock was revenge, Levicorpus was humiliation turned inside out. Toenail Hex was discomfort, twisted into cruelty. Sectumsempra was pain, his pain, turned into a weapon. Vulnera Sanentur was the part of him that wished he hadn't gone that far. And the seventh spell? Maybe it's not in a book, maybe it's not even magic, maybe it was love, unspoken, unreturned, unforgiven. Because when you look closely, these aren't just spells, they're scars, left behind by someone who never got to be the hero, but refused to be the villain. So if you've made it this far, you're clearly not just any casual fan. You're one of us, the ones who dig deeper. Tap that subscribe button before you forget the name, Half-Blood Prince, because we're just getting started, and the next story might be even darker.